I'm seeing things that I asked God to see 20 years ago, but I wasn't ready because there's this saying, be careful if you ask God for wisdom because you're going to go through some really tough stuff. That's how you gain knowledge and wisdom. And I've been reading this Jerusalem Bible every night before I go to bed. I didn't start from the beginning. I've been all over the place, but now I'm in the book of the second letter of John, and I've read a lot. I do not go to sleep, no matter how tired, no matter how late it is, until I've opened it and I've read. And I've been falling asleep every night. Also, I take my iPad and I listen to Derek Prince with subtitles. That's the name of the YouTube channel. Sermons that go on. They're a couple, 1 to 2 hours per sermon, and I fall asleep to listening to stuff where my wife has been like, what are you listening to? And it's amazing. So here's what I want to talk about. Since I've been praying and reading the Bible, I've been finding myself speaking to and counseling a couple of my closest brothers that have been going through some tough things. And the conviction inside of me is helping me see that I have the authority in our Lord Christ Jesus. I can believe I'm talking like this. This is amazing that you have the authority, and I got to be careful because I'm still learning in how I speak, what I'm saying. But when you repent and you put God first, and you put nothing or no one before Him, and you seek His counsel, and you are very careful. I'm not saying I'm anywhere near that, and I'm probably scared to be any closer at this point because I'm not even that close. I'm just scratching the surface. I get that. But I'm now speaking things to other people that they're coming back to me and saying, whoa, what you spoke to me, Keith, has made an impact. And some stuff that's confidential I can't share, but it had me basically outside on my face crying, praising God, because it was a very critical and personal situation somebody was experiencing, and they were weak where they needed to be strong. And I just knew to call them, and I got on the phone with conviction and just started letting them have it in a most convicted way, to empower them to reach down and grab the courage to go in and intervene in a situation that they were confused on. And it was clear to me because of this. And they sent me a text message, this person that I love dearly, saying that the conversation I had with them sparked a fire inside of them where they had a massive breakthrough in their personal life with somebody they love. And it created a spiritual, like a breakthrough, a total breakthrough, to where now things are going in the right direction now where they were going in a bad direction. I don't take any credit for that. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. But what I'm saying is, when you get on the path, and this is why this is so important. So I've had somewhere 15 or 16 people that I know either died young from drugs, alcohol, depression, suicide, stuff like that. And 6 people that I know personally that were very, very, very close to me, including my own mom, passed away from an overdose. So this is very serious stuff to talk about. It's a very sensitive topic. And I thought about it for many years. Like, why wasn't I strong enough when XYZ person was going through this horrific thing? It's because when somebody's going through something really tough like that, and you are just you're in survival mode yourself, you don't know how to deal with it because they can be so toxic that I don't know how deep I want to say, but if somebody's going through something and they have a stronghold on them or demonic activity on them, and you try to intervene and you're not properly equipped or trained to go in and deal with that thing, they could attack you mentally, emotionally, verbally, uh, physically, or whatever's on them can jump on you. It's very easy to sit on the side and say, "Why didn't you save that person?" Or "Why didn't you do this?" Or "Why didn't you make sure that person went to rehab?" And it's like, I'm not an expert when it comes to addiction or abuse or any stuff like that. But if you try to get somebody, let's say, who is a 200-pound man who's an aggressive alcoholic who's drinking a fifth a day, and you try to go grab him and physically take him to rehab, you you uh, might not be able to get that done, and you might get hurt physically in the process. So I'm just trying to be logical here, right? So this is why we deal with mental, emotional, psychological, and it's spiritual, right? This is the top. If there's a spiritual sickness, a dis-ease going on up here, all the way down through the levels, it affects what manifests physically, right? So, somebody I love was just addicted to smoking cigarettes for many, 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 many years. You could not take their cigarettes away from them. And they wanted to quit, but they didn't have the power. Something came over me one day. I had a conviction inside of me that was so strong. It was much stronger than their conviction. And I'm not saying I can duplicate or replicate this again, but it was when I say conviction, I just wasn't convinced. It was when I say conviction, I mean an absolute conviction. I sat down across from this person, and they were smoking a cigarette, and I looked in their eyes, and I said, "I love you." And they said, "I love you too." And I said, "Will you please quit smoking?" And they said, "I already told you I will." And I said, "No, will you please quit smoking?" And they said, "I already said I'm going to quit after this pack." And then I said, "Will you please, please, please quit smoking?" And they looked at me and they said, "Okay." And they quit smoking. And they're not a smoker. It's not even part of their identity. Now, this is a simple thing like smoking. Smoking is very dangerous. I actually, when I was younger, if I wasn't an asthmatic, I probably would have been a smoker because I understand from a smoker's perspective that to sit down and puff on a cigarette can be relaxing. For some stupid reason. Tony Robbins says because you stop and you start breathing differently. So it has nothing to do with the smoking. That's just like a talisman or something. I get it. But sometimes what I'm saying is that the conviction inside of you, I'll just fast forward. The love that you withhold is the pain that you carry. If you really love somebody as much as you say you do, why do you continue to let them suffer? What secondary emotional payoff are you getting by letting them suffer? Is there a story you're telling yourself? Because you can't run, and you definitely can't hide. So you might as well face it now. Face the person now, the toxic person, the person that you're holding a grudge against. the person you need to apologize to or the person that needs to apologize to you. And you might as well pick up the phone and call them or even walk in the next room and go face them. Because if you don't, it'll manifest in other ways, and sometimes ugly ways. And you know what I mean? Like drinking or smoking or even worse, right? And like I'm not an expert, I'm unqualified to start talking about, depression and all this deep stuff. But I do want to say that um, there's this guy I was thinking about, Garrett White, Wake Up Warrior. He's a pretty famous guy. He's friends with the. Anyways, I see him on social media, and he's a fascinating guy, and he's actually very gifted. He is, at the end of the day, he's literally just a man. He's not perfect at all, but um, and he uses little tools in his social media, like being super rich and stuff, and some stuff that I don't even agree with. But I know at the end of the day, he actually cares for real, and he's a good man. He has a good heart, and he loves God. But never mind all that. He's gifted, and he understands he has a gift. And I want you to understand you have a gift. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I was on one of his webinars a couple weeks ago just to check it out. And the first thing that he said, basically, if you want to be successful as a coach or a consultant, he was cussing, using the F word. That says uh, pattern interrupt. He says, quit effing lying. If you want to get anywhere, the first thing you need to do is quit effing lying. And you know exactly what that means, whether to yourself or to others, because you might start to get somewhere, you're going to hit a ceiling and you're going to be trapped. And you'll never get beyond that point because you're lying. You need to get brutally raw and honest. And I was thinking about that. I was like, wow. It's the lies that you tell yourself and other people. And I'm not talking about like just really bad lies. I'm just talking about little tiny white lies that are just stories. And it's a sickness because you get some type of secondary payoff. You're afraid to quit lying because you think that uh, you need the money. A small example of this is like, let's say I have a landscaping business, and let's say you're overly nice to certain clients that you literally can't stand, and they don't respect you anyways, and you want to be the heck out of there, and you want to move on and get different clients, but you keep lying to yourself and lying to the clients, but you keep doing work for them. You don't know how to detach emotionally, and you're doing it all, and you're putting yourself through hell, frankly, because you need the money. I mean, what way to live is that? And there's people who go on like this for years when you could face the truth and the facts and the brutal reality and quit lying and then be freed from those chains and then move on with your life and go replace it with way super high quality clients that vibrate with you and maybe even pull you up and you make more money. But first you have to quit lying, you know. Um, One phenomenal thing. I've been through some amazing lessons in my marriage. Wow. Wow. Petty, petty, petty little tiny stuff. I think I was like so convinced that I was trying to maybe like convince my wife that I really am a good guy. Can't you just see I'm just a great guy? That it was almost like suspicious to her or something because of my fear of unlove and abandonment and losing my mother from a drug addiction and feeling ignored as a child. I just couldn't believe that my wife just loved me for me. I get a little nervous talking about it right now. That she wants to spend the rest of her life with me. Like I could just let down my guard and just completely be me. There's no way. So I'd act, um, even just sitting at the dinner table, just afraid to be completely calm and present because I thought it wasn't good enough. You know how much torture that can put a man through? It's like when I think about it, I feel it coming up again. But I mean, for the most part, that stuff's gone. And yeah, I'm very blessed. What about you? So this is beautiful. I'm actually, now that I've thought about this, my podcast is the Untrapped Podcast on Apple and Spotify. It's actually on like 20 different platforms. I'm going to turn this into a podcast. So this talk that you're hearing right now has originally been recorded on my YouTube channel. I Am Ability. It has 5,000 subscribers now. I started this channel in 2015, and I've been uploading videos ever since. My main YouTube channel is the Landscaping Employee Trap. I've renamed it Keith Kalfas ever since we went to Logan Paul's house in person. I thought it was a good idea to rename the YouTube channel. My name, it doesn't even matter. And now it just crossed 152,000 subscribers. We have 80 something million views online in total. My podcast has just crossed 800,000 downloads. My other YouTube channel is called The Window Cleaning Blueprint. Just crossed 21,000 subscribers. We have a channel about our dogs. I think it's crossing 4,000 subscribers. So it's like I just have different topics for different channels because I'm a communicator. But anyways, if you love what I'm talking about right now, it's what I normally don't talk about on my bigger channels like Instagram and TikTok, and the kind of, like, we got over 10 million views online last month. And so I have these side projects. One is my big passion. It's called my YouTube channel called Monetize Your Message by Keith Kalfas. It was called Influencer You. So I'm teaching people now how to take their knowledge and passion and expertise and how to create content online that attracts an audience and helps that audience for real. And then I teach them how to monetize that message. So subscribe to me if you haven't. I would love your feedback. Again, if you love when I talk about Jesus and Bible study and deep consciousness stuff, that's all my deep inner game type of content. That's specifically on my YouTube channel called I Am Ability. Go and watch the most recent videos, and I upload on there actually pretty regularly. And unfortunately, if I just went mainstream talking like this, I guess unless it was totally blessed by God or I got lucky, it's just not going to get a lot of um, traction, is the word. But what I can do is make entertaining content that gets tons of views. And this is a lesson here. And then I can salt and pepper in. You sneak the vitamins in with the ice cream and talk about God and you talk about stuff. And then you pull people in to your deeper content to where then they can get fed, right? So that's a way to pull people deeper into the funnel and reach more people with a more positive, intentional message. There's so much stuff I could talk about, and I'm excited. Real quick. So this Jerusalem Bible was recommended by a friend. I also have a book called The Moral Compass. I have a lot of books, and my wife had an amazing childhood, and her father is an amazing man. And when she would talk about the books that he would read, I would research them, um, and I bought a few of them. And I've actually went to my father-in-law, who I love very much, and I said, "Man, you were." My wife said, "Your daughter said that you're such a great father." Like, wow! And he's such a humble man that he doesn't um, want to talk about that too much because you're supposed to be a great dad, right? It's just I admire him so much, and I'm very blessed. And my wife is an amazing human being now. She always was. But anyways, gosh, I want to talk for hours. I feel like I'm going to stop right here. Give me some feedback. The Untrapped podcast at gmail.com for business inquiries. Please leave comments below so I can read them. Uh, I don't want to talk anymore because I have so much I want to share, but I don't want to just start sharing it all yet. Okay, later. Oh yeah, I got to read my Bible and then I'll go to sleep.